Welcome back to CageChat MMA. We are here to, of course, to preview UFC Kansas City, where we've got an incredible fight in the featherweight division. It's Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. Now, of course, Max Holloway, former champion, still one of the very best in the division, one of the very best in the business, in fact. He's 0-3 against Volkanovski. Of course, he was unsuccessful in getting his belt back against the champion. But in between those, he had a fantastic fight against Calvin Kattar, one of the fights of the year. I believe the start of 2021, wasn't it? Obviously on Fight Island. And, of course, he had a fight of the year contender with Yair Rodriguez. A back and forth war that Yair really pushed him, but Max Holloway came out on top and showed why he's still the number one contender. And now it's Arnold Allen's turn to go at it. Arnold Allen, of course, in his own, in his own run at the top at the moment in this featherweight division. He too, he's ranked number 4, but he's probably the number 2 at the moment. Of course, obviously at UFC 290, it's rumored that Volkanovski and the interim champion Yair Rodriguez will be going at it to unify that belt and come away with an undisputed. Now Volkanovski will be going into that favourite, but the winner tonight will probably be next in line for the winner, especially if Volkanovski wins, because I imagine if Yair wins, more than likely there will be a rematch. Volkanovski certainly deserves a rematch. But yeah, the winner tonight will certainly put themselves up as maybe the backup. I don't know if June is too soon to turn around. Actually, might be July, isn't it? 2nd of July, UFC 290. I don't know if that'd be too much of a quick turnaround for either competitor tonight. But they certainly will be next in line, none of doubt. Now with Max Holloway, of course, he feels like this old veteran, doesn't he? That has been in the game. He has been in the game for years, but he feels like he's 36, 37 on the way out. And Arnold Allen feels like this fresh, upcoming, emerging talent. But there's only 2 years difference in age. Everyone forgets Max Holloway is only 31 years of age. However, he is 23-7. He has been through a lot of damage, even in some of the wins. The Ricardo Lamas fight. Those times 10 seconds just rocking shots at each other. He's been the decision a lot. He went between Dustin Poirier and up till the most recent fight with Volkanovski, they've all been decisions, so they're all 25-minute fights. So he's doing what, 150 minutes in his last 5-6 fights. He doesn't slow down, Max Holloway, and it's good that he's probably taken, nearly a year off, 9 months since his last fight. He's probably needed that, especially going in there with Volkanovski. Especially going in there with Yair, it's good to see him tailoring off. He's not as active, and of course that's the benefit of being champion. He doesn't have to, always defend his belt 2-3 times a year. He can come in and out. He is a star still, but he has taken a lot of damage. And I wonder if Arnold Allen can capitalize now. Of course, Arnold Allen is coming off the back of that win against Calvin Kattar. Yes, an unsatisfying win for fans because Kattar was injured, but it was looking good for Arnold Allen, wasn't it, in that first round? He was putting the pace on him, and obviously prior to that, he had the biggest win of his career against Dan Hooker, obviously moved him down from lightweight. Those two had a war, and Arnold Allen came out on top, and in more so extended his win. He's currently 19-1. He's not lost since 2014, which was back in the days before he's still in Cage Warriors. But since then, he's just risen to the top, and he's probably next in line. Obviously, we've got Leon as champion now. We've got Brendan in PFL. We've got an array of talent across the divisions, but Arnold Allen feels like the next one, perhaps. You got Mokaev in the flyweight division. You got Tom Aspinall, of course, in the heavyweight division. But Arnold Allen feels like he could be the next guy, and a win against Max Holloway would certainly almost declare him that. And again, watching BT at the weigh-ins at 287. Michael Bisping raised a very good point. Any other time he's fighting Max Holloway, you're fighting for the belt, but unfortunately this is a 5-rounder fight night headliner. Now I believe this might have been, or could have been, in the Apex, and that would have been an absolute travesty, but they moved it to Kansas City. And it's a fantastic fight. We'll have a look at the tape. 23-7 against 19-1. 3-inch height advantage there for Max Holloway. Get how big he is in this featherweight division. Albeit Arnold Allen does have a 1-inch reach advantage over the former champion, and of course the former champion, 31 years of age, 2 years older than his opponent this weekend. But yes, the teletape signifies one story, but both of these two are absolute outrageous competitors. But again, the main question is how much damage can Holloway take and how much can he keep taking? We know how good he is. We know he can, do it in southpaw, do it in orthodox. You know he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. Ties that moniker himself. We've all seen the clip doing the rounds this week from him against Calvin Kattar. Um, of course, he wants his belt back. Does Alex Volkanovski just have his number? Has he taken too much damage? There was a point where we thought maybe his time at 145 was done, particularly against Frankie Edgar when he was slurring his words. So, does a loss tonight mean he goes up to 155? Or a loss on Saturday mean he goes up to 155? We know how hard Arnold Allen punches. Was that knockout against Dan Hooker because Dan Hooker was draining himself? So there are some questions, but of course he's got a unanimous decision win against Yusuf, Nick Lentz, Gilbert Melendez. So this is the biggest fight of his career, and a win tonight, a win on Saturday would put him, next in line for the title. And as a British fight fan, you want to see that happen. But we all know what Holloway brings. You know what blessed is. The best is blessed. In the words of Max Holloway. He has only lost to Dustin Poirier and Volkanovski. Dustin Poirier for the interim title. And obviously Volkanovski took his belt and obviously stamped the trilogy with 2 victories following that. And it's a fantastic fight to call. I want to say with my heart that Arnold Allen's going to go in there and win. But it's not the most confident of picks. I could see Max Holloway putting a 5-round masterclass on. But I think Arnold Allen has enough power and enough strength to hit the chin and test the chin of Max Holloway and put some pressure on him. Now, of course, Max Holloway's been here and done it. 5 rounds not going to bother him on a fight night card. I doubt it would bother Arnold Allen. But, this is his first main event. This is his first crack at a real contender, a real challenger. How's that going to do for the mental state? Obviously, he's been at the forefront of the media this week with Max Holloway, which is something he's not overly used to. Yes, he's done it bits in London, but he is quite a quiet soul. But this is his big fight week. This is what he needs to really put himself up there. He got jumped ahead of by Josh Emmett and Yair for the interim title when he probably should have been fighting Yair, with all due respect to Josh Emmett. But those two were louder about it. Those two had slightly better performances. Yair obviously had Brian Ortega, and Josh Emmett beat Calvin Kattar by split decision. So not all 3 of them had spectacular wins to lay claim to it, but they were louder and they got the job done, and they got a bigger audience over in the States. Hence why they fought for the interim title. But Arnold Allen needs this. If Arnold Allen wins tonight, that's a bigger win than most have on their career. Because Max Holloway doesn't lose. He only loses to the best of the division. But if Holloway gets knocked out in 3, there are some questions asked about him. And again, only at 31 years of age, he can still take time out, take 2 years out, bulk up to 155, because he was a little bit small against Dustin Poirier. You saw the difference in size between the two when they fought at 236. So there's questions to be had this weekend, and they will be answered at UFC Kansas City. And I'm going to go with Arnold Allen to get the job done. I think he's ready for fight for this title now, and I think he's going to get that win this weekend. Do I think it goes 5 rounds? I'm going to say Arnold Allen gets it done within 3, because if it goes 5 rounds, I think Max Holloway's done a good job. I think Arnold Allen needs to get him out of there within the first 2, 3, test that chin, and try and land a couple on it, because we know, Max Holloway can fight in the pocket. We know he's durable. But not hopefully, because I want to be respectful to Max Holloway, because I'm a big fan of his and I love watching him fight also. But a part of me almost wants to see if Arnold Allen's a little bit too more powerful for that chin. Because then it sets up a nice fight and questions for Volkanovski. So yeah, let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Are you thinking Max Holloway gets it done? He's shown time and time again he's the number 1 in this division. But Arnold Allen is the rising contender, and he's fresher, although he has had a lot of injuries and inactivity. So yeah, let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. We have to talk about the co-main event before we head off. Edson Barboza versus Billy Quarantillo. These two are probably 2 of the most exciting fighters to watch. We know what Edson Barboza done. The wars with Justin Gaethje. The war against Shane Burgos, where he got that fantastic knockout in the 3rd round back at UFC 262. He is on the unfortunate end of a few losses, a few skids. He's only had 3 wins in his last 9, 4 in 10. He's got a win over Beneil Dariush. He got a win over Dan Hooker, but losses to Khabib, Kevin Lee, Justin Gaethje, Paul Felder, Dan Ige. Now they were back-to-back split decisions, but prior to that, two stoppages in those two losses to Kevin Lee and Justin Gaethje. He got stopped by Giga Chikadze, and obviously he went to the distance with Bryce Mitchell. So this is a big test for him at 145. But for Billy Quarantillo, he's equally exciting to watch. No one remembers the Shane Burgos fight, and it was one of the best fights of the year because, unfortunately, it was on the same night as Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, which took fight of the year. But if you remember, we went straight into that fight, and those two put on a war as well. It went the distance. It was equally as entertaining, but unfortunately, because we're just seeing Gaethje and Chandler leave it in there for 15 minutes, this fight went under the radar the week after. But incredible fight, and obviously Shane Burgos fighting in the PFL this week and get against Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Quarantillo is coming off a win against Alexander Hernandez. He's got wins over Gabriel Benitez, wins over Kyle Nelson, Spike Carlisle. So he's on a bit of a better form, sorry. And 34 years of age. Edson's 37. This is going to be fight of the night guaranteed. One of these, if not both, will walk away with $50,000, and probably the winner of the main event will walk away with $50,000 in their back pocket. But yeah, this fight's mouth-watering when you see it on paper because we know the styles they bring. It's not really a wrestling battle. They're going to meet inside the octagon, put their feet in the middle, stomp down, and throw leather at each other for 15 minutes, hopefully 15 minutes. Because, yeah, you don't want to see this end within a round or two, do you? You want this to be a back and forth, going into the third, and you're going one apiece. This one takes it. But yeah, incredible fight. And be interesting to see. I'd like to see maybe a Leroy Murphy or a Nathaniel Wood. I hope those two fights, they're going off on each other on social media. We need to see that fight rebooked. Hopefully for that card in London, supposedly in July. But I'd love to see a Leroy Murphy, a Jack Shaw, a Nathaniel Wood get a Barboza or a Quarantillo. Absolutely, I'd be down for that. Also on the card, you got Dustin Jacoby versus Azamat Muzakhanov. You got Ion Kutalaba versus Tanaboza. That's to be a good one in the light heavyweight division. Of course, Tanaboza coming down from the heavyweight division. He's been on the back of a few losses. Kutalaba coming off the back of that loss to Johnny Walker, the submission to Johnny Walker. But yeah, Tanaboza, Rodrigo Nascimento lost, Elia Latifi lost to, and obviously Andrei Arlovsky and Cyril Gahn, which has aged quite nicely for him. But he's 3-4 in the UFC at the moment, so this is a big move for him. And now, of course, I believe the Nascimento fight, and maybe even the OSP fight, it was coming down to 205 gradually. Of course, there's no in between division. I'd love to see a cruiserweight division at 230, 240. So you don't get the big gaps between a 265 and a 235 pounder. But unfortunately, we don't have that luxury in the UFC or in MMA at all. I don't believe. But yeah, I'd definitely bring a cruiserweight division in. But that's a big fight for him because if he loses, it does add more question marks. Yes, the weight cut's going to be I don't think it's going to be an issue. I haven't seen the weight cut actually for him. But obviously a loss, he wants to get a win and rejuvenate his career and make a stomp on that division. But yeah, that's going to be a good fight. Kutalaba, albeit I'm not his biggest fan, I respect what he brings to the table, and he's always an exciting fight to watch, win or loses. You got Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez on there. That's going to be a good one in the bantamweight division. The winner will probably get Christian Rodriguez, maybe. Clay Guida versus Rafa Garcia. Clay Guida keeps propping up, only 38-22. His 60th professional bout. 61st professional bout this weekend. Outrageous longevity from Clay Guida. TJ Brown versus Bill Algeo. That's going to be a cracker. Bill Algeo is a good fighter. We know how good he is. That loss against Brendan Loughnane has aged very well. And obviously he got signed to the UFC prior to Brendan Loughnane, although Brendan Loughnane won't be crying too hard into those $1 million. But Bill Algeo, fantastic fight against fantastic fight who takes on TJ Brown. Brandon Royval against Matheus Nicolau. Now, of course, it's just been announced that Cape and Devison Figueiredo will be fighting, and it's also been announced that Pantoja will be fighting Brandon Moreno for the title once again. But the winner of this, especially Nicolau, will certainly put himself in title contention with a win on Saturday. And the loser, I would say, try Mohamed Mokaev, maybe. That'd be an option for me, but maybe that's my British bias coming through. Ed Herman versus Zach Cummins. Pierre Rodriguez versus Julian Robertson. Lando Venata versus Daniel Selihuber. That'd be a good fight. Lando Venata's always a good fight. Bruno Brazil coming up against Denise Gomez. Gaston Bolanos versus Aaron Phillips. And Jocelyn Edwards versus Lucy Pudiloda. So SBG coming out to open the card on Saturday night. But yeah, it's a good card for Kansas City. Those two fights topping the card in the main event and co-main event, the mouth-watering ones. And then you got a few potential performances of the night by night sprinkled across, particularly looking at Iron Cutelaba now and Tanabosa. If Pedro Munoz can put a good performance, definitely you could see him doing something well. And you have got to be ideas, and Redal Nicolau is standing out as a tremendous fight also. But yes, let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Are you going with Max Holloway or Arnold Allen to get the job done? Are you what fight on the card are you looking most forward to outside of that? I think everyone's buzzing for the main event, but there's a few sprinkled fights to be getting excited for on Saturday night. It is an earlier card as well for the Brits and the Europeans, so I think it's a 1 a.m. start or a 1:30 start for the main card, which is always nice to see. But yes, do make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to drop our social media. Follow CageChat MMA across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. And I'll see you guys in the review on Monday.